Dun, 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 dun. Do you remember which episodes were explicit?
No.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with a 90s. You can also watch this show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And finally, if you'd like to support the show here in the new year, head on over to patreon.com/namely90s with a 90s to sign up for one of our support levels. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year again. Although, we recorded that New Year's Day episode so long ago, I don't remember if we said Happy New Year at any point during that one.
Well, we're saying it again.
Happy New Year.
Isn't it still 2020? Confused.
Is just not the entire decade going to be 2020, given that we were never going to be out of the COVID crisis?
It's currently the zombie apocalypse. Things are going really poorly. No.
Brandon is trying to make his way to Washington with nothing but 10 gallons of water and a machete on his back.
So far, so good.
Yeah. It's a new day, but an old day. We're clearly recording this in 2021, but we have just finished recording, episode 9, but all 12 episodes of our 12 Days of Christmas specials. So please, listeners, give us a hand. We can feel it through whatever device you're listening to us on. See, I hear it right now. There's clapping. It's brilliant. We started earlier this year and yet still finishing. Actually, we are finishing a little bit earlier. I might actually get this all done before I head home for the holidays.
But it was a lot of fun. The concept still works. We met a lot of cool people.
Yeah,
we watched a lot of good and bad TV and made a special of it.
Yeah, Andrew conquered his fears. I got to play your part where I poo-pooed episodes. It was fun role reversing, and we got to, like you said, we got to meet new people. That's the one thing I want to say. I wish we could have back everyone that we had last year. But when we started planning for the episodes, we made a conscious decision to try to limit the number of guests that we bring back.
Right.
And we did a decent job at that. We had 10 completely new guests. We had 2 guests that were previously unable to record with us live join us.
Yes.
So technically every episode has someone new on it. But
True.
We did have 2 returning podcasts this year. And due to some unfortunate timing, another podcast that we tried to have return couldn't make it. Actually, technically 2, not from the specials, but just overall. Wow, that really singles someone out if you do the math on that.
I can't even do the math, so I think we're all set.
Fair enough. But it was great to meet all these new podcasts and to expand our network, and all our love to all the old the people from the previous year that we got to meet and connect with, and still have healthy Twitter relationships with. We'll be coming for you sooner rather than later.
And some of them
things in the new year,
swooping in to help out when we had a little bit of a snafu with one of the episodes. So it was a great community we're a part of here, and just ticked over 7,000 downloads. So feels like things are good,
Yeah, I mean, heck, we might even be at 8,000 by the time this one drops.
Yeah. And our audio is listenable.
That's our selling point. Put that on the tagline next to your mom's quote. No, I probably wouldn't watch it regularly.
No, but you're right. Like one time you accidentally didn't put our filters on or whatever after when you made the episode, and I was
which you immediately caught at midnight, by the way.
I was like, well, so what happens is I listened to it on my way home from work. And I was just like, this sounds terrible. It sounds like the first episode. And you're just like, yeah, you didn't get that quite right.
To be fair, I had pushback originally. I'm like, he does nothing. And he's like complaining about my audio quality again. Here it goes. And then I look at it. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I
it's
forgot
just
to.
Crazy how noticeable it is because you don't think about it.
No, yeah.
And then you turn it
sound
on
like different people in real life.
Yeah, you turn it on and you're like, oh, this sounds like actually us, which is a problem.
Yes. Well, I mean, what we do is let's reward everyone for tuning in 2 days later after going through 12 straight days of listening to us by giving them some inside baseball. What we do is we just, we pull out any of the frequencies that doesn't sound good, which for us is a lot.
It's most of my voice.
No, we put a high pass on, and then we raise like our peak area, and then we'll just kind of pull out 2 or 3 frequencies that sound tinny and hollow, just due to our recording and how we record. And then we'll just throw on we'll do some compression and boost the volume, and just a noise filter and a pop and a reverb reduction. So
I remember recording the first episode on a headset with my laptop in my car outside of the Yokes in Spokane.
That's true. I don't take credit for the first 2 episodes, I think 3 episodes. I don't remember when I started.
Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, neither did I. But,
well, you actually have acceptable software.
Yes, I think that helps. Actually, if you want to get good at green screening and editing audio or whatever, just buy the Adobe suite. Not a sponsor. It's expensive, but well worth it if you're going to be making consistent and quality videos and audio and animations and illustrations and whatnot, just throughout the year.
But what a year it had been. I mean, didn't we had our 50th episode, right? Which was our 1 year.
Something
like that.
Well, our 1 year was 2 episodes after our 50th, which was technically our 64th episode or something like that.
Sure.
Because we did 12 Christmas specials and 52 episodes.
But I mean, we did that. The Pod Shed now exists.
Mm-hmm.
That was a busy year.
We made a Patreon page.
May 17th, 2021, number 51, the 1 year anniversary extravaganza.
Because we don't do a numbered episode during our 12 Days of Christmas specials.
Correct.
But we also had the special bonus episode that was around episode 5. So that filled out that last year.
Yes.
If you're following along and trying to do the math on where we are, we also hit our 100th episode if you include all of the bonus episodes.
Yeah, but I think I'm going more for like the numbered ones.
That's fair. We did 24 hours of content in a year and a half that don't count towards
true.
But
we do that
counts.
for you guys, the listeners.
And just it's how our website's set up.
Also that.
Yeah. It's been a fun trip so far. Unfortunately, by the end of this year, we'll have to end season 1 and this current format that we're doing and move on to a new format.
Yes.
That's scary.
It's scary, but it'll be interesting to see how that progresses and changes.
How much effort do we actually feel like putting in before switching to Namely 2000s and doing the same format?
I wonder if anyone is getting the sense that we're talking a lot about this stuff because it's a 1990 episode.
Oh, I specifically made a game for us so that we could padded the runtime of this episode. But yes, we are probably almost 15 minutes in, so should we just keep chit-chatting?
No, I think we should learn more about what was going on in January of 1990.
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to January of 1990. On the first, David Dinkins. Who the fuck is David Dinkins? Is sworn in as the first
Dinkins.
Oh, he was the first African-American mayor of New York City. Also on the first, the Babysitters Club TV series premieres on HBO.
I'm gonna start saying it. I'm confounded by something. I'm like, David Dinkins.
On the 7th, on the 2nd, All My Children, a daytime soap on ABC, broadcasts its 20th anniversary show on ABC. Hey, I really prepped for this episode. On the 7th, the Tower of Pisa is closed to the public due to it leaning too far. Leaning Tower of Pisa. On the 8th, Deborah Norville succeeds Jane Pauley as co-host of NBC's Today with Brian Gumbel. On the 10th, China lifts its martial law after the Tiananmen Square massacre of 1989. Also on the 10th, not related, Time Warner is formed. On the 13th, Liam Hemsworth is born, actor known for The Hunger Games and possibly as the lesser Hemsworth brother.
Ooh, ouch.
There's 3 of them. On the 14th, Grant Gustin is born, best known as The Flash on The Flash.
He's also known as Glee on Glee. No,
but he was on Glee with Supergirl.
That's I stole that joke from The Office, where they're having the Glee watch party, and Phyllis is like, now which one's Glee?
I do remember that one now. On the 14th, The Simpsons air their first regular episode after 1989's Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire, which was technically their first episode. On the 20th, Miami Vice airs its 4th and final lost episode that MTV didn't air due to strong subject matter, child molestation, on the USA Network. On the 28th, Super Bowl 24, the 49ers beat the Broncos a whopping 55-10, and Joe Montana is named MVP. On the 30th, Wayne Gretzky sets an NHL record, Andrew's typing this in NHL.com, for scoring 100 points in a season for the 11th year in a row. By the way, the last time we mentioned it, I think Kayla was on. Was that the last episode? Episode 82?
Yeah.
Where you fact-checked me on this. I think that was lifetime career goals, not just NHL career goals.
Well, this sounds correct. I would say that is a correct statistic.
Also on the 30th, Isa Gonzalez is born. She was in Baby Driver and Hobbs and Shaw. Also on the 30th as well, Jake Thomas is born. He's the little brother from Lizzie McGuire. These are all just words to you, aren't they?
You meant like the guy from Wendy's, but that's Dave Thomas.
Yes. On the 31st, the first McDonald's opens in Moscow, Soviet Union. Well, Moscow, Russia, in the Soviet Union.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks for clarifying.
You got it. In the box office, on the 12th, we have Leatherface, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And on the 19th, we have Tremors.
Not like an earthquake movie?
It's Kevin Bacon fighting monster sandworms.
Okay.
I highly recommend it as a Kevin Bacon movie. On the Billboard charts for number 1 for January 1990, in the first 2 weeks, we have Another Day in Paradise by Phil Collins. And for the last 2 weeks and into February, we have How Am I Supposed to Live Without You by Michael Bolton. And for the first week in January of 1990, continuing down the charts, we have number 2, Rhythm Nation by Janet Jackson. Number 4, Pump Up the Jam by Technotronic. Number 9, We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Number 14, Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. Number 16, Downtown Train by Rod Stewart. Number 19, Living in Sin by Bon Jovi. Number 20, Oh Father by Madonna. And finally, at number 24, we have Janie's Got a Gun by Aerosmith.
And now, back to the show.
Okay. Anywhere you want to go?
I think it's interesting that they didn't want to show the Miami Vice episode until like 1990.
Mm-hmm. It was they aired it on reruns, and syndication. So this like they aired it on USA Network, which had NBC and MTV thought it was too
I was just
going to
say. And just a few years later, Law & Order SVU came out, which is only about those sorts of things.
Right.
But that was 9 years later. I didn't realize it was 99. I thought it came out before that.
I mean, Law & Order didn't start until, I think, like 94.
Law & Order SVU started in 99. That's what I was referring to specifically.
I know. I'm just saying Law & Order. SVU has to happen after.
Well, no, you're right.
The initial run of Law & Order.
Well, I was going to say a few years later. I didn't think 9 years. That sort of was surprising to me.
They didn't really spin shows off as quickly as they do nowadays. Like,
true.
Arrow was on for 1, maybe 2 seasons, and then The Flash came out, and then Legends of Tomorrow, and then Batwoman, Supergirl, and it was. I
swear to God, we're almost to the point where they're going to start rebooting shows that are still on.
I mean, they almost did.
It just means
Arrow ended after 8 seasons, and then they tried to reboot it as Green Arrow and the Canaries, starring the daughter of Green Arrow.
I was just going to say, like, that's when we know we've reached the pinnacle of society. Here's another thing.
I wanted it to happen.
This is kind of an aside that's not related to this content, but I was getting these automated text messages from some thing about health insurance, and I didn't want them anymore, so I typed stop, and it said, "You have typed stop. You will no longer receive these notifications. If you'd like to continue receiving these notifications, please reply with unstop." You mean resume?
I mean,
what I should have responded to the text was unstart. Please unstart these messages. That's how I know we've reached the pinnacle of society. There's a chip bag in my video.
So they won't see it. It's out of frame. Well, now it's not. So my friends just opened up a Bao restaurant, and I'm a part of like their discount member club. And
did you support them on Kickstarter?
Essentially, except without going through Kickstarter. But like they wanted it to be all secretive and cool. Shout out to Bing's Bao Buns in San Luis Obispo. But they're like, welcome to the delicious discount direct line. Here you'll be able to place advanced orders and blah, blah, blah. But at no point did they say, this is us at Bing's, by the way. And so I was just like it was just like a generic thing. It's like, we'll also keep you posted on restaurant status in the upcoming days. And I'm just like, when did I sign up for this? And I I've been getting a lot of robocalls lately and like spam email, and I'm just like, I reply with stop in all caps. And then it's like, and then they reply with, okay, comma, you have unsubscribed from this list. And then send a separate text in parentheses. This is the Bing's number, by the way. We're trying to be kind of mysterious, but apparently too big in the text. So I in all caps, I respond LMFAO and resubscribe.
Bing's Bao Buns. I wouldn't eat there regularly, says my mom. No, I always think that's funny when you respond to one of those and someone's just like, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
And you realize it's an actual person.
Well, because it's become so ingrained that it's just a robocaller pretending to be a person. And,
right.
Yeah. But we saw the Miami Vice movie.
Was that Jamie Foxx and
Colin Farrell?
I almost said Will Ferrell.
With the like 1 minute intro that starts on Colin Farrell's porn stash from.
I only vaguely remember that movie.
I remember that scene because it's way too much focus on the porn stash. And the original series had Don Johnson, and I forget who played Tubbs. But yeah. But yeah, there were 4 episodes that they didn't air on MTV. 3 episodes, 4 episodes. 3 later aired on NBC, which were World of Trouble, Miracle Man, and Leap of Faith. And then the one that aired on USA was Too Much Too Late, which NBC chose not to show because of the strong topic of child molestation. Tubbs' old flame Valerie returns to Miami to help her drug-addicted friend Ebony, who is a slave to her drug dealer's demands. As payment for her addiction, she forces her daughter, Lynette, to have sex with the dealer. 1980s. Yeah. Thank you, USA Network, for showing us this necessary episode of Miami Vice. But yeah, but
it had CCH Pounder, who was in ER.
CCH Pounder is the drug addicted friend.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, what? No, I'm just kidding. She's cool.
I don't know. They wouldn't really. I mean, Miami Vice was like, that was like the cool show. You know, it was cops, but they were wearing suits with their arms rolled up, and then stuff like this happened, and yeah.
Hey, as long as they're fashionable while they're doing it.
Oh, right. Just to be clear, Tubbs and Crockett were not doing that. They were doing crime solving.
No, but how coked up do you think they were?
Oh, that's a fair point. Like a 7?
Yeah. Like maybe. Still enough to do police work, but
yeah. Probably an 8 or a 9 since it was season 5. Tremors. I can't believe you've never seen Tremors. Well, I can absolutely believe you've never seen Tremors.
I mean, before. It has Reba McEntire in it, so honestly, I'm gonna have to watch it.
That's your bar?
No, Reba McEntire's awful.
What?
I hate her music and I hate her acting.
You didn't like Reba?
No. And I like country. Reba's awful. It reminds me, I was a big, I'm a big Brooks and Dunn fan, and they went through a phase there where they were really into like having Reba in their songs. And they would play like the Reba version. I'd be like, play the non-Reba version. She sucks. I don't like her.
Fair enough. To be fair, I think she dies in this. So Tremors is a 1990 American Western themed monster horror comedy in the vein of all the horror comedy of the late 80s.
Wow.
It's in the film, tired of their dull lives in the small desert town of Perfection, Nevada, repairman Val McKee, played by Kevin Bacon, and Earl Bassett, played by Fred Ward, try to skip town. However, they happen upon a series of mysterious deaths and a concerned seismologist, Rhonda, studying unnatural readings below the ground. That's a strange. Oh,
they were causing tremors, but it wasn't necessarily an earthquake movie.
Yes. With the help of survivalist couple Bert and Heather Grummer, Gross and McIntyre, I'm fairly sure they die. The group fights for survival against giant worm-like monsters hungry for human flesh. This is the first installment of the Tremors franchise, followed by 5 direct-to-video sequels.
Whoa.
And 1 prequel. That is Tremors 2 Aftershock in 1996, Tremors 3 Back to Perfection 2001, Tremors 4 The Legend Begins in 2004. I wonder if that's the prequel. Tremors 5 Bloodlines in 2015. Tremors A Cold Day in Hell in 2018, and Tremors Shrieker Island in 2020. There was also a TV series titled Tremors the Series, which aired from March through August in 2003, and a second television series was set to air in 2018 after a pilot had been shot with Bacon, reprising his role for the first time since the original film. But everyone passed on the series.
Listen, when SYFY passes on it and they aired Sharknado, like, I'm sorry, that means it was really bad.
Yeah, they were on like Sharknado 7 at that point.
By the way, just so you know, people from Nevada hate when people call it Nevada.
That's why I said it that way.
It's Nevada. I had a professor in school that always said that.
Well, I mean, I know this is not the time or place to get into this, but if you look at how you should properly pronounce it versus how people pronounce it where they are, I think the argument is kind of fair on both sides.
Nevada.
Like, when people pronounce Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah, who does that? Fox Mulder.
Or anyone from the East Coast, because they don't understand how the West Coast works. There's people that don't know. You know how like Snohomish is just like an easy word for us?
Yeah. There's
people that are like, how do you Snohomish?
There's a place called Lancaster.
Mm-hmm.
There's many places called Lancaster, but
Indeed.
One of them, they specifically, if you say Lancaster, they go, it's Lancaster.
It's Lancaster. Yep.
It's like, you're an idiot. Okay, great. Good talk.
Okay, so
Then California?
Not that one.
Okay.
Or is it? It might be. I thought it was the one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Or like Binghamton. It's Binghampton.
Yeah. Like, hey, in broadcasting school, journalists are told to use a Northwest accent, which is the least accented of all English. So maybe you should take your cues from us.
Well, it's like, Binghamton, or I live in the Mtons. Like, it's not correct. I'm just saying. Anyway, unstart.
Resubscribe.
Restop.
All right. I've made a game for you today. Aren't you excited? It's the first new episode of the new year. And I've made you a game.
Okay.
It's called the International McDonald Game. To date, there are McDonald's in 122 countries around the world. So I've developed a game where I will name a country, and you, Andrew, will have to tell me whether or not they received their first McDonald's restaurant, not a sponsor, between the years of 1990 and 1999. I'll then tell you if you are right or wrong, and regardless of your previous answer, or as we say in Nevada, previous, if it occurred in the 90s, you'll get an opportunity to guess which year it was established. And if it was in the 90s, you'll be guessing the decade that it established. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. We have 10 countries and a total possible 20 points available. So I think you should get 70% or better to win this. That's 14 points to win. If you're ready, or if you're really struggling, maybe we'll knock it down to a D average. Who knows? Are you ready, sir?
Let's do it.
All right. Here's the example. I would ask you, when did Canada get its first McDonald's? And you would answer with... What was I actually asking you here?
Whether or not they got their first McDonald's between 90 and 99.
Thank you.
No.
So no, you are correct. And then I'll give you a chance to guess the decade, which is the 1960s. And this was the second country to have a McDonald's.
Okay.
All right. First question. Did Hong Kong get their first did Hong Kong get their first McDonald's in the 90s? And you get a hint for this one. It was still British Hong Kong at the time.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the decade that Hong Kong got its first McDonald's?
Ooh.
Just the first McDonald's was in the 1960s, so those are the decades.
You're saying it was before this then?
I'm saying that any time from the 1960s all the way to now, it could have.
I'm going to go with the 2000s.
I'm sorry, Andrew. Hong Kong got it. Oh, wait. I said that it was British Hong Kong at the time, so it was pre-1997.
Yeah, but it's still Hong Kong after it's not British, so I thought I got it after.
No, it got it while it was still under British occupation, not back under Chinese sovereignty.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't really understand that clue.
Okay, so I'm gonna
say the 80s.
That is also incorrect. Hong Kong got its first McDonald's in January 8th, 1975, and that makes it the number 18, the 18th International McDonald's.
Okay, I'm going to fail this game. Next,
we're going with Geneva, Switzerland. I ate at one in Switzerland. Sorry, Geneva, Switzerland is the first. Damn it, I gave it away already. Switzerland. When did Switzerland get its first? Did it during the 90s get its first McDonald's?
No.
That is correct. Ding. Can you tell me the decade?
The 70s.
That is also correct. Ding. Andrew gets 2 points for this round. The first McDonald's in Switzerland was in Geneva, and I ate at one in Schaffhausen.
Schaffhausen.
Just because I had to experience McDonald's abroad. They always say it's different. It's not that different. How about Greece? Can you tell me, Greece, did they get a McDonald's first in the 90s? Was their first McDonald's? That is correct.
Ding.
Can you tell me the year? It was Athens, Greece. And that makes them at number 53 for McDonald's in other countries.
92.
Ooh, you are so close, Andrew. It is 1991.
Oh, was that before the Olympics by chance?
Like the original Olympics in 800. Which I don't remember when Athens had the last Olympics, but
that was Barcelona. Okay.
Barcelona.
I was thinking maybe if it was there that they built it for that, but anyway.
Oh, that's fair. So you're currently batting a 500.
No.
Next up, I
have 3 of 6 points.
That's 0.5. 0-0. Next up, we're shipping off to Kuwait. Give me a break. Did they get their first McDonald's in the 1990s?
No.
Kuwait. Your final answer is no.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they did get their first, and I want to say only McDonald's in the 1990s. So can you give me which year that they got it? Kuwait.
98.
Kuwait.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Sorry, that is incorrect. 1994. Kuwait City. June 15th, 1994, making it the 66th International McDonald's. Operation Desert Storm brought McDonald's into the region.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but that didn't make any logical sense to me, so I didn't. Nothing like McDonald's to bring together a war-torn country.
I think it was more for the troops abroad.
If these are on base, do they count?
I don't know if it was on base.
Okay.
But if it's on foreign soil, it does.
Well, bases are not foreign.
Exactly.
Soil.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's see. Next up, we have Romania.
No.
Your answer is Romania got its first McDonald's not in the 90s.
Correct.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry. This is not as easy as I thought it would be.
No, why would I know any of this?
Well, this one was supposed to be a hard one. Bucharest or Budapest. I don't know.
I don't think they're the same place.
I would fact check that. Do you know number 75? Do you know the year in the 90s that it came out?
I I want one of them to be the late 90s. I'm going 97.
So close. 1995. June 16th, 1995. My bad. Would it be helpful if I said which number? No.
Budapest is in Hungary, by the way.
Thank you. I definitely was tripping on that one. Vietnam.
1970s. So no.
You're correct. It is not in the 1970s. It is not in the 1990s.
Ding.
The Vietnam War did take place in the 1970s. I'm going to let you re-guess because I'm going to give you that it is number 121 on the list of 122 countries that have a foreign McDonald's. So do you want to guess the decade?
2010s.
You are correct.
Yay. I've already lost, so it doesn't really matter.
Have you?
Yeah.
Let's see. You possibly have. Well, we can lower it down to a D average.
Okay.
Which you're still just under. Might even lower it down to a 50% average. Okay. China. What is the first McDonald's in China? It's number 49. Number 49. Was it in the 90s?
I'm going to go yes.
You are correct, sir. The first McDonald's was in Shenzhen, China. And it's on October 8th of what year?
1993.
That is incorrect. It was the 1990. 1990. Wow. Let's see. That gives you 6 to 14. Moving forward, we have South Korea, number 46 on the International McDonald.
This is when McDonald's became soul food.
See what he did there? We actually had a food truck in town that used to run called Feed My Soul.
I'm going to go.
Was it in the 90s?
No.
You are correct.
Ding.
Can you tell me the decade?
The 80s.
Number 46. That is correct.
Ding.
2 points. And you were right. It was Seoul, South Korea that had it. You're currently batting 500 again. And you have 2 more questions. So you still got to pull it off to get the D average here of what is the 12 out of 20?
Sure.
That sounds right. All righty then. Iraq.
No.
Iraq. You are correct.
Ding.
Number 119 was in Baghdad, Iraq, established on August 10th of which decade? And I can tell you the year.
The 2000s.
That is correct.
Ding.
2006.
Yeah.
This
Boom.
was for sure the only McDonald's in Baghdad and is currently closed. Not because the soft serve machines weren't working. It's because of all right. So
COVID.
Because of COVID. You're still in contention, Andrew. You have 10 of 18 points. You need 2 more to win. Ooh, this one's going to come down to it. Number 88 is India. Did India get its first McDonald's in the 90s?
Are you giving me the number?
Number 88. Do you need a refresher on that?
I'm going to say yes.
That is correct.
Ooh.
Delhi, India got its first McDonald's, which is strange for a country that doesn't eat cows. Taco Bell's really popular over there, though. Can you tell me the year in the 90s that it came out in? Number 88, October 13th of this year. For the win, Andrew, you have a 1 in 10 chance.
19 99.
Oh, I wanted you to win so badly. And that wasn't a misdirect. I'm sorry. It was October 13th, 1996. You just barely got under our winning condition.
Darn.
11 out of 20. You know, I would pass you if I was your professor. That's
in the world's most useless class.
Hey, Super Size Me is taught it was taught in classrooms at one point.
Wow.
But yeah, you did pretty good for such an unfair quiz.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Like, yeah. 1 in 10 chances, 1 in 6 chances. It's 50-50s. It's hard. It's hard.
That's what she said.
But yeah, do you plan on visiting any international McDonald's?
I have been to
right.
McDonald's in Cannes, France.
What did you think? Did you have the Royale with cheese?
It was nice because I was sick the whole time I was in France, and it tasted correct,
like home.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a Royale with cheese like they say in Pulp Fiction?
I have no idea what I had.
Oh, because they don't call it a quarter pounder in France.
Possibly
they have the metric system.
I don't
know. Anything else you want to talk about? 1990.
No,
January?
thank God it's over.
Yeah, and that's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. What? Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s with 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and at NamelyAndrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. Let us know how you did on our quiz. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with a 90s. Finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, McDonald's, Deezer, TuneIn, Good Pods, iHeart, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time. Actually, in the new year.